Greetings friends, it's me Wayman. I'm out here still on the lake and it's a pretty nice day, and I decided to pop off a few outdoor videos for those who say, Wayman, do some outdoor videos. So this is a little bit of commentary on Genesis 15. This also, as we said in the previous video, is by the J text, according to the documentary hypothesis, 950 BCE. This concerns the promise to Abraham, and there's a few interesting things in here that I want to go over. Mainly the covenant practice of walking between the divided pieces. Now you say, what's that? Well, we'll get to it. Sometime later, this is Genesis 15. This is out of my JPS Traveling Tanakh. I carry this all over the place. It's great because I can read this on break and whatnot. Sometime later, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. He said, Fear not, Abram. I am a shield to you. Your reward shall be very great. But Abram said, O Lord God, what can you give me, seeing that I die childless? And the one in charge of my household is Demisek, Eliezer. Turn the page. Abraham said further, Since you have granted me no offspring, my steward will be my heir. So here this is probably another reference to the law, Code of Hammribbi. You can actually legally set up some kind of will, so to speak, so somebody will be able to inherit your property through an agreement. The word of the Lord came to him in reply, That one shall not be your heir, none but your very own issue shall be your heir. He took him outside and said, Look toward the heaven and count the stars, if you are able to count them. And he added, So shall your offspring be. And because he put his trust in the Lord, he reckoned it to his merit. Or in some English translations it says, Unto him it was accounted as righteousness. Then he said to him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur, the Chaldeans, to assign this land to you as a possession. And he said, O Lord God, how shall I know that I am to possess it? And he answered, Bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old she-goat, and a 3-year-old ram. There's some argument here about if it means 3 of each animal. Some texts say that, or 3-year-old. I suppose all Christians, in order looking for the symbolic number of 3 because of the Trinity idea, would definitely see Jesus in this text. However, that's not what it's getting about. This is dividing of the animal, cutting a deal, so to speak. So, a turtle dove and a young bird. He brought all these and cut them into 2 pieces, placing each half opposite the other. But he did not cut up the bird. The birds of prey came down upon the carcasses, and Abraham drove them away. So here he's setting up for the covenant grant ritual. And I'll be posting some text in the ancient Near East where this is done in the details section. So take a look at this, because blessings and cursings not only were in biblical literature but also in Hittite literature. And also this reference here, where the divine passes between the pieces. People would pass between the pieces and be held accountable. And you can see that happening in Jeremiah 34:17, which is pretty interesting. The sun was about to set, a deep sleep falls upon Abram, and a great dark dread descended on him. And he said to Abram, Know well that your offspring shall be strangers in the land, not theirs. So here they're looking back, and they're writing about it. This already happened, according to secular view. This is not, I'm not talking about the theological history of this. This was written as an explanation on how things came to be. And that already happened. They're looking back and writing as if it were prophecy about things to come. So he talks about executing judgments on the nations, and he says in verse 15 of 16, You shall go to your fathers in peace, and you shall be buried in a ripe old age. And they shall return here in the 4th generation, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. So by saying 4 generations you'll come back, they already knew. When the sun set, it was very dark, and there appeared a smoking oven, a flaming torch, which passed between those pieces. Now, if this was an agreement covenant, Abram would also had to pass between the pieces. But Yahweh is rewarding him, so only the divine passed between the pieces. That's to say, if people were passing between the pieces, that is to say, if we transgress against this covenant, we will be as the pieces that are cut up. Now, I wanted to go into that a little bit because this explains in Judges 19 where the maidservant was raped and cut up into 12 pieces. That's what's going on here. The covenant of hospitality in the Benjamite tribe was broken when that happened. So they cut the girl up into 12 pieces, and they call a council, and they say the covenant was broken. We need to show up and talk about this. Rather gruesome, yes, but this cutting and dividing covenant, passing between the pieces, sheds light on that text. That text was written before this text. Also in Judges 19 is the setup for the idea in here in Genesis on the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. The same kind of things happen. People are outside the door. They want to sleep with the visitors inside. So, also, where besides Jeremiah and Judges 19, and in the text of Samuel, where Saul is the newly elected king, and the Spirit of the Lord falls upon him, and he ends up cutting up 12 pieces of heifer or bull, and he sends them out. Whoever doesn't show, we're coming after you. And that's exactly what would happen, because during this loosely knit early tribal league of Israel, some people felt they had to show, and other people just didn't show. So it was kind of hard to protect themselves and negotiate and other things. But passing between the pieces is a beautiful piece of literature, because here the divine does it with Abraham. And so take a look at that, and be well, friends. And remember, if everyone's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.